You're watching Thrifty Kaniffy. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Thrifty Kaniffy. So today I have a real and true classic for you today. This is the Opinel No. 8 Peasant's Knife, or penny knife. This knife has a very long storied history and fits in anyone's knife collection. If you're a knife collector, this is as important to own as a Buck 110. This is an essential knife that's been around since 1890. I'll give you a brief history. I don't want to get into the weeds with it. I know there's plenty of historians that could tell you hours worth of material on this. I'm not really interested in doing that, but I do want to give you a brief synopsis of where this knife was created and so forth. So in 1890, Joseph Opinel was working out of his father's blacksmith shop. He was interested in streamlining the process of making these knives, and soon afterward moved into a new facility where he began producing them in larger quantities. They really kind of took off in the area of Savoie, France, where they were being peddled amongst railroaders in a town nearby. And the entire local region really took to the knife and became pretty popular in the region and then throughout the whole of France. So he was very successful, and he passed this down to his sons, who then passed it down to their son, and then his son. So now we're in the fourth generation of Opinel running the company. In 1955, they introduced the collar that you see here, which locks the blade once you open it. So it's essentially a blade lock that you simply turn the collar to lock the blade. And then later they introduced also not just a way to lock the blade in the open position, but in the closed position. But that didn't come till later on. Now they've tweaked a few things on the collar back in, I think, 2020 or 2000 possibly, I can't recall, making this a little smoother to use. They've even developed a name for a way to open the blade when the body of the wood swells and makes it difficult to open. Now it's got a nail nick, but you can imagine if the body of the wood swelled, it would be locking that blade in place, and they call it the coup de savoir. And you just simply wrap the knife at this tip, and then it kind of halfway releases the blade to make it easier to open. So you can see that this knife's been around so long they even have a name for the way to open it when it's stuck. That's been around a while then. Another thing is they added this stamp, or his trademark, to the knife, which is a crown with a hand there, which is called the crowned hand. Now this crown was there to represent the fact that this was a duchy, the region of France where he was from, the little town there. And then the hand is from St. John the Baptist, which was on the coat of arms in the place where Joseph was born. So that town that he grew up. And more about the knife, just the practical points of the knife is that it's basically just got 5 parts. You've got the handle, the blade, the inner and outer collar, and then the pin that goes through the middle. So that's all there is to it. It's just a very basic, simple knife. The one I have here is in the stainless option, and you can also get these blades in a carbon option. Now the stainless is the Sandvik 12C27, and then the carbon option is XC90. They're about the same price, so it's really just a matter of preference which one you would like. Now the number 8 has a 3/8 inch blade. The cutting edge is all the way to the end there, and the handle length is about 3.5 inches. Now again, these were available at the time that Joseph started creating these in 12 sizes, numbers 1 through 12. Eventually, in the 1930s, they eliminated the number 1 and the number 11, so those are no longer made. They were discontinued. The number 1 was discontinued because it was found to be just too small and impractical. I guess originally the idea for it was to be a watch knife. And then the number 11 was deemed to be too close in size to the 10 and 12 to differentiate, so they eliminated it as well. So if you have one of those from, prior to 1935 or 32 or so, you've got a real collector's item. Now, then later on, I believe in the 70s, they began making a display knife that caught on with people that visited the stores and wanted one of the display pieces for their own. And so then they created the number 13, also known as the Giant. So those are out there as sort of a novelty piece. But the most common sizes are generally from numbers 6, 7, and 8. And Opinel also makes, has branched out and started making exotic handles that were not of beech wood. You got ebony knives. You've also got kitchen cutlery that they make. They make knives for children, like the first Opinel, my first Opinel knives that have rounded front blade of the blade, so that they won't be pointy. And they're probably developed for kids for scout knives and so forth. So they've really branched out and tried to introduce new things. They have a whole line of knives that have different colored painted handles that they're in different colors that you can get, all rainbow of color. So they've really tried to branch out and go beyond just their basic lineup. They even have some pruning knives as well. But this is obviously their mainstay. And again, the number 8 is probably among one of their more best-selling knives. So this is the one I decided to go with. Now, I probably will end up getting a carbon bladed one as well, because I guess that's really more traditional than the stainless. But at the time I ordered, this is all they had in this size, so that's what I ended up getting. But has a beautiful, upswept blade. It has a beautiful upswept blade and sort of a clip point edge there at the end. Again, that inox means that it's the stainless version, and you'll have a different stamp on there for the carbon blades. But again, I say there's a lot more history. If you're interested in this knife and really interested in the history of it, you could spend hours reading about it. There's, like I said, a very long history about the knife, and that's just sort of giving you the basics there of what this knife's all about. But I believe it to be an essential knife and one that belongs in any knife collection. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. That's going to do it for me. You guys make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. Ring that bell so you're notified of new videos. You guys have a terrific day, and take care.